Hey traders, it's Harry Boxer, the technical trader at the techtrader.com, and it's Saturday, April the 27th, time for the weekend webinar. Definitely an eventful week as the markets came back off an oversold condition and near support on the S&P 500, popped across resistance, especially on Friday. Look at the pullback on Thursday. This is almost an island reversal and very bullish, but declining tops line, 50-day moving average, which is flattened out, and the 21, which has come down, are both in the same area. I need the market to pop across 51.25 and get covered. That's a key number for me right now. Keep an eye on that. NASDAQ 100, also similar. Island reversal on Thursday to the upside. You'll see many individual stocks that did that, particularly in the NASDAQ 100, which I find really unusual. If NASDAQ gets above 17.9, we can see this run too. Small caps, well, when you break down from a channel in a multiple wave move up and then bounce right to resistance and pull back and bounce again, you better get through it. Resistance is 202.5. You get above that, we're in great shape. But if this is a 1-2 and it fails right there, you come down to 188 pretty quickly. Transportation index, it's similar, breaking a topping pattern almost at head and shoulders. And with a bearish wedge pattern, note that it tested the neckline here and failed. Any breakdown below 14.9 would be really bearish, and a push above 15.4, 75.80 would be bullish for the transportation. So you can see that even though the S&P and NDX look better, the Dow Jones at 20, the transportation index, and the small cap index, these are at resistance and better get going, or they could result in a smash down. So we're not out of the woods yet by any means. Let's look at the underlying technicals. An oscillator with to a negative 225, ran all the way up to plus 37, backed off, came on again, and right now it's neutral at plus 4. It's not going to get overbought until it gets to between 150 and 100, and then 160 to 200. The most oversold we've gotten since last December this year. It's a plus 108, but still has room to run. The percentage of stocks above their 40, only 3 out of 8 stocks, or 37.5%. Only 3 out of 8 are above their 40. So far, that could change quickly, but you got to be careful that the breakdown in that index and a snapback of about 50% doesn't carry forward. I think it will, but we'll see. The VIX volatility index, which spiked to 21, is back into the 15 range. Kind of a neutral reading for me over the last almost a year. So let's look at some of the major components. The NASDAQ 100 generals. Apple had a bounce until Friday when it came down and closed actually down on the day. Just a little, but it closed right at the moving averages after running from 164 to 171, about 7 points. We go back to resistance, so there's no breakout in Apple yet. Still on a downtrend. Amazon, very unusual pattern. Take a look. You don't often see Amazon or any major stock gap down and gap up the next day, including leaving a large tail. Very, very bullish. Now, if it backs and fills for a few days without coming down, and you'd love to see Friday's low hold, that's 176. Excuse me. Any takeout above 182 could lead to 188.90 and more upside. But I love that reversal off of the major gap and the pullback lows going back in February. So Amazon, definitely a bullish pattern. And it closed above the 50. Google, talk about a breakaway gap. Big earnings report. Stock goes from 157 to 177 and backs off to finish 172.95, but it was up substantially, 15 points. And that's a breakout to new all-time highs on Google as a market leader. Microsoft also left an island reversal, down one day, up the next. And not only that, but It got down into broke support, stopped out some people, closed at the high, or right near it, and then gapped the next day, only to come back down from resistance. And then on the day, though, it was up about 7 points. This needs to get back above 418. If it does that, and retest the highs are better. Pretty impressive, I will say. Netflix, not so good. This stock has come down hard. It's got a bear wedge. If that cracks here, got a lot of room to go down towards 500. So you're going to see 50, 60 points on the downside if it cracks. 42, for example. So we're watching this carefully. Here's an hourly look. As you can see, this formation does not augur well. Not for Netflix, anyway. We'll see. Meta also broke down on Thursday. Tried to snap back, but it's below resistance. These two stocks concern me, as opposed to Amazon and Google and Apple even. But Apple's kind of neutral. Amazon, Google, positive. Meta, Netflix, not so much. NVIDIA, a monster. Look at this. It took a dip to secondary support at this gap. That was at 742. It tagged 756, so above that. And then a big snapback to 879 for 130 points. Now it closed above the declining top line and above both of its moving averages, the 21 and 50 day, not the 10 day yet. Oh yeah, 10 day as well. So all three moving averages taken out. NVIDIA, very bullish action. Tell you what's bullish. You get through here in NVIDIA and it's rock and roll time. Above 907, look out. And Tesla recovering, but note what I had said a few weeks ago. It's in a nasty bearish decline. This is like 1 and 2. This is 3 and 4, and this is the fifth wave down. Fifth wave spiked down to 133 and change. That was the target I had, almost exactly. And then popped 37 points to get up to 173. Actually, popped almost 40 points. But you see it back up to the declining top line, and the 50-day moving average show hasn't broken out yet. Tesla gets across 184. Its bottom is complete, but it may pull back and consolidate, form an inverse head and shoulder, and break out. So the key is 184. We'll see if that happens. Let's go to some of the other ETFs we follow closely. The semiconductors, SMH, broke the trend hard, got oversold, bounced back to the moving averages, and the declining top side is near. So for me, SMH needs to prove that it can get through here and blow, or it backs off. What about biotechs? They've been terrible. Hardly a bounce, and then a real big pullback, and then another bounce Friday. So we have key support at 81. You can stop under that, and above 86.5 is where I think you can really get some market mojo. Biotech's oversold, no question. 5 waves down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And about a 0.375 fib retracement, almost 40%. What about financials? Same thing here. They broke, they snapped back to resistance, and they backed off. So this one's got a hold, in my opinion, around 98. Be back in fill and then break out above 104. We're in good shape for a test of 111 and the triple top up here. The movement immediately down below Thursday's lows, 98, could spell trouble as the biotechs and financials still show weakness while semis are trying to lead. Okay, what about others? What about gold? Look at GLD. How about that move? 181 to 225. The GDX. It's had a nice four-way move. 1, 2, 3, 4. Held support and bounced. If it gets above 35.5, we're looking at 40 for GDX. I like NUGT. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4. The target is 51.2. Look at JNUG as well. They all look the same. 4 waves, maybe a 5th wave coming. And natural gas is just getting, it can't rally, but look at the KOLD. Coming off this low, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 perfect bull coil. Now, if it breaks, we're looking at 150. Now, I don't know if it can double from here, but I got to tell you, once it gets above 81.2, it could probably take off. Key support right now, 865, and there's your stop under that. We're not letting it below there. On the other side of the coin was Boyle, and it looks bad. I can't tell this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or whether it has more waves to go. But if it is a base, you're going to want to wait for this one. Wait for a pop over 15, 15, 10 before you get too excited. Right now, it actually looks lower to me, and KOLD looks higher. If this thing comes down more, you might see $7 or $8. Wow. Okay, lots of stocks to talk about. Oh, I just want to show you oil, USO, coming out of a base, consolidating. Obvious stop is under 77. Above 83, looking at 88.90. Okay, we have a lot of stocks to talk about, long and short, so let's go for it. ABIO. Well, first of all, any stock that pops and does that, look at the long term. There's a lot of room to run, potentially. Looks like a $5 stock to me. Maybe more. But it's got to break out first, so wait for a pop above 3 3/4 with volume. Worth watching. ADMA, talk about beautiful biotech. Look at this chart. 3 to 6 3/4 in the last 8 months. Looks like it came out, retested, and it's moving again. Quite frankly, this thing gets above 6 3/4, you might see 7 1/2, 3/4, maybe 8. I like that look a lot. Good chart. AEM, well, gold strong. This Agnico Eagle is one of the majors. How about that chart? Looking for 70 and 73 potentially. Great pattern. AEO in the retail sector. Nice long chart. Long trend from 10 to 26. And pull back. Held support. That's your key right now. Stop on the 21 3/4. But Friday was a big day for it. Up $1.45. And if it can challenge and take out 26 3/4, I'm looking at 30 or better. AEYE, beautiful stair step move. Break out of the base. This is a long leg 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th wave's underway, which I think extends to about 20 and then 23. In the gold sector, Alamos Gold is one of the leaders in terms of the relative strength. Nice run, target 17 1/4. AGX, that's engineering construction firm. Look at that breakout here, rising flag. I mean, I think it's going to be high 60s. AISP, something to watch. I believe a artificial intelligence play. It went from 149 to 14 and change in about 2.5 weeks. And then it went into a 2-month coil. It's at the apex. Any pop above 8 or 8.5, 9, and it's not going to take off. Something to put to your watch list. ALAB recent IPO popped out Friday and may extend. I look for at least a move to retest that 95 range and maybe up to 105. ALAR, gotta love this software infrastructure stock. Shallow rising channel, which accelerated here, and now a beautiful 45-degree angle type move. This tells me we're going to 36, looking for another 8 points. ALXO, junior biotech, been consolidating since December after a big run. We break out here, we might see 20 and 23. ANVS breaks out of a base, particularly on Friday. Nice move. I look for a test of that zone between 22 and 24. APP, one of our old swings, popped here, consolidated there, popped again, which is where I think we put it on. In the mid-50s, it's gone into the almost 80 range, and now it's consolidating. Friday it popped back out again, so we're looking for a retest of 79.80, and then maybe get 88. APPF, Appfolio, beautiful long-term chart. Big breakaway day Friday, and looking for extension to 270. ARQ, nice space. There's your breakaway, rising channel. I'm looking for 9.25. AU in the gold sector, this is a tech trader swing. It did have a big pullback, but it tested and held. Now back up again. First 25, and then 27, then 30. Those are your targets. AVDL popped out, pulled back in a three-wave corrective, and then spiked. Lagged, popped, wedging. Target 25. BDTX, a junior biotech with a good chart. Target 7 and 8. BLBD, pull back to test support. Do not let this go under 32.5. If it does pop, 40 and 45 targets. CADL exploded 3 weeks ago, consolidating now, coiling. It's another one of those. Keep an eye on this one. Wedge pattern. Targets are 7 3/4, 8, and then 11, 11.5. CAMT, beautiful long-term chart. High-tech play with a stop under 71. Targets 91 and 105. CAVA, restaurant chain. Coil was broken Friday. Now the target tells me, and this is new all-time high territory, if it gets above 71.60, not there yet. Then we're looking for 90. CCJ, uranium purveyor, what a great chart. We get above here, we're looking at 55 and 60. CECO environmental, beautiful long-term chart, now in the bottom end of the major range, target 28. CGC exploded, pulled back, popped, put a swing on it. The stock is looking like it wants to go higher, but it did reverse Friday after reaching all the way up to 10.25, finished 8.90. Not a good finish for that one, but still looking for 11.5 and 16. CGEM swing, popped, and pulled back to test, held support right there. Popped up, inside day, exploded Friday. 18 to 25 3/4 on one day on Friday, on almost 5 million shares is breakout day. I'm looking for 30.31. CLS, long-term rising channel and the beauty. There's your breakout day right there. Rising channel right there. Accelerated and then pull back. Now, I'm not sure if this one's got to be protected under 40 or stop. Target would be 46 and 50. CLSK in the Bitcoin realm, crypto stock acting better than most, but there's your stop. Do not let this go to 13.5. Above 21.5. You look for 25 and 30. KOYA has been pulled back now for 6-7 weeks. It needs to hold 7 3/4. Stop under that. Move over 9.25 could get it going. Then I'm looking for 11 and 14. Coupang breaks out of a base, pulls back on a falling wedge, explodes, breakaway gap, rising flag, looks very good. Targeting 26.7. CRNT had a really nice rising channel after breaking out of the base. Let's pull back. It does look like a 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm looking for one more wave up at least to get it to 4, 4.5. Kinetics, breakaway gap, consolidate, and then break out and run. We're back to the bottom of the channel at support. It needs to hold right about there. Stop under 39.5 and targets of 48 and 56. Carpenter Steel, now called Carpenter Technologies, it's steel stock, has gone from 25 to 84, and with this momentum, it might be $100. Criteo also popped, pulled back. We had a swing on this one. It went from 29.30 to high 30s. My target range right now is it moving to the high 30s? Yes, 36 last. CXAI, artificial intelligence, pop, pull back, test, and pop on Friday. Is that the beginning of the move? We'll see. It's very volatile. Looking for 5-6 range and then 6-7 range. Dell, nice little pullback, falling wedge there. We've been long since 69 back in September. It made it up to 136, doubling, and pull back. But I like the overall look, and I think it goes up further. The ESP, nice base, breakout, consolidation, and should this one get above 13.25, 15 and 18 are targets. DraftKings pulled back, but it did bounce off some key support. Put your stops underneath 39. My targets are 45.6 and 49.50. DRS, beautiful long-term chart, aerospace stock breaking out Friday. Looking for a retest of the high, 24 and 26 targets. DTSS, another one of those to keep on your watch list, exploded, literally went from, check this out, $1.47 in one day to get up to 20, pull back, and now it's coiling for 2 months. At the apex, if it pops, I'll target 9.5 and 12. EGO, little gold stock, great relative strength. You can see it popped the resistance there on Friday. If it gets through that, I would look for 18. EVER, dynamite rising channel from 5.5 to 20. It's now been coiling for a couple months and ready for another leg, targeting 23 and 27. Copper stock FCX breaks out of a big base, runs up, pulls back on a wedge and pops. Get it to 52.5, you're looking at 58. Flex, long 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and consolidating, but it's worth watching because this pattern is conducive to an extension. It does go 32.3 is your target. FNGR, I did not see this pop on Friday. I've been looking for this wedge to break out. Look at that pop. Actually, it was Friday after hours. Take a look. Right there at 4 o'clock, it started to pop. So something brewing. Keep an eye on this one. Looking for 4.25, 5.5. FRO, frontline, the shipping stock. What a beautiful long-term chart. For me, it has designs on 25, 27, and 29. FTAI, well, it finally backed off Friday. What a great looking long-term chart. I'd be a little careful on this one. It's long in the tooth. I want to show you the momentum, but FTI, break out of a base, break out of a coil, flag, pop, pullback. Easy stop right here. Underneath 24.5, you're out. If it pops to resistance, I'll target 28 and 31. Now, GCT's had a big run. It's gone from 7 into the 40s. It's coiling now. If it pops this coil to the upside, it may really run again. Resistance is mid-40s and then low 50s. GEO, long-term swing from September when it was 7.75. It's doubled to 16.31, and now it's pulled back. I like the look of it. If it does go again, 17.5, 18 is your target. General Motors, breakaway gap, rising channel. Beautiful chart. It really is. It looks like a tech stock. Anyway. Popped on a good report, and now you can see it's stalled right here. Should it get to this level, 46, I'm looking at 49.5, 50. J&K, another shipper that's running, just broke out Friday, target 25. GVA in a construction group, one of the bigger ones in the world. Granite, 1, 2, 3, 4 is underway. Fifth wave takes me to the mid-60s, maybe 70. Junior insurance company Heritage has gone literally from $1.25 to over 10. I'll tell you what, if it gets over 11, you're looking at 14.50. IBRX, pop, rising channel. On Friday was an explosive day where it jumped 249 or 48%. On a mere 41 million shares, this could be a breakout day. And if it gets through here, which is right at resistance, who knows where they can take this one. Keep an eye on that one. IDYA, pull back down, broke support. It's below the trend line. It's below lateral price support as well. Something to be really careful about here. IFBD popped on Friday. Just keep an eye on it. Resistance and target is just about 7. INCR in the biotech group, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe starting the fifth wave. If so, this is what I'm seeing. Target is 4. ADO exploded, pulled back, and now it's wedging. Also another watch stock. Don't do anything with this or any of those stocks until we see a price volume surge or break it out. But it's a 1, 2, 3, 4. We could get a fifth wave that takes it to 7 and 8.5. JNUG exploded in February with a big gap and then coiled, broke out of the coil, and now it's got a little pennant, but a double top as well. You get a 261 and you may see 70, 75. KTOS finally broke out on Friday, popping $1.72 or 10%. Obviously, double top will be the target at 21.5. LBPH now in 4-month coil after a massive pop. Something to watch. It's starting to edge up. Friday jumped to $1.45 off 7.5%, but key is getting it above 22. And then I would look for high 20s and low 30s. LFMD, Life MD with a beautiful rising channel just broke out of a coil, retested, and it had biggest engulfing positive reversal bar Friday. Your target is 15. LRN, the educational stock, beautiful long-term chart. Which tells me, if in fact this is right, we could be headed to high 70s. Max breaks out of a base, V bottom with a platform and a breakout, and now flag. Wow. Well, minimum target is 23. ML holding for now. I need it to stay here. If it pops this falling wedge, 85 and 95 are targets. MNDR, new IPO, let's look at it on an hourly. 1, 2, 3, 4, wait for a coil underway. If it pops that, we're looking at 30, 35, and 40. MP, swing trade when it popped out, but it pulled out the resistance and backed off. However, check out the left shoulder, head, and right shoulder that's formed. Your stop is easy. It's under 15. The buy stop is over 17 3/4. Then looking for 19, 21, and 25. Merck, the big drug company, fantastic long-term chart. Look at this. Wow. It's gone from 40 to 130 over the last few years. There's the bottom line, though. It doesn't look done yet. Target 140. Newmont Mining, one of the big players. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a big pop on Thursday. Inside day Friday. I think it goes higher, 46.7 target. Nanox, well, I was a little early on the pop, but I just feel like at some point you're going to see explosive move like we did there. Just keep an eye on that one. Put that on your watch list. Nutanix, HB is one of its top 10 favorites. Long since September when it was in the low 30s. Subsequently more than doubled to the mid 60s. My target is 75.80 in that zone. NTRA pulled back hard and bounced and held support right there. What I want to see is can I get through that? If next week this takes out 93 3/4, I would look for a 99 and 105. The gold sector nugget I already mentioned earlier, I like to look at that. Oscar broke out of its base, ran up to resistance and backed off, but boy, I'll tell you what. If this one gets to 18 1/4, we're headed for 21 and 24. Pan American Silver and the Silver Group finally breaking out and with a big run and now a pullback. Boys, that look good too. 22 and 24 targets. PAYS, pop flag. You can see the way it intercepts is way higher and now it's wedging at the apex. Extension target, 5 1/4, 6. Impinge, one of my tech traded swings since back here in October when it was in high 50s, low 60s. It's subsequently gone up 130% and reached 157. How about that? My target was 150.55, so wouldn't blame anyone for selling it up here. But that's a breakout into the all-time high territory. Palantir, bouncing off the trend line, got through resistance, closing above the 21 and 10-day moving averages. All we need is now above the 50. I think it may be on its way for more. My target is 27 and 32. PTSG, a long 2-month consolidation after a massive breakout. That one augurs well for more upside, 60, 65 targets. Pubmatic, popped wedge, popped coil, it pulled back then, but it held mid-channel and the moving average. However, it's big resistance to 24. We get through that, 27 and 29, 30 are targets. Rani exploded out of a coil and is wedging now. Also one to keep on your list. If it pops, you could see 10, 11. REAL, a little online retailer popped and it's got a beautiful flag. Now, the measured move on this one says 6, 7. Rev Group, beautiful pop, platform pop, wedge, coil. You can see where it stair steps its way higher, pulls back off the top, bounces off the bottom. Extension target now, 25. RMD with a big breakaway day on Friday exploded for almost 20 points. Well, actually, it was more than that, but it closed at the high for the day, which is impressive. I'm looking for 240.45. RNA, a tech trader swing since way back in here. The stock's now moved from the high single digits and high 20s, reaching 27, almost 28, and now it's flagging. You break out of here, we're looking at mid to high 30s. Might happen. Root, one of my biggest players of the year, went from like 10 to 90, 80, 86. That's your resistance. Support is there. Your stop's under 49. Your target is back to 80 and 86. RXST, sharp runner, 20 to 60, and now coiling. Keep this on your watch list. If it breaks out of here, it's a $66 stock. Starbulk, the shipper, beautiful rising channel, and it's about to break out, or it appears to be. Watch this one for a move across 25. If that happens, 28 is your target. SE breaks a base, pulls back, pops again, might extend, and if it does, first target is 67, and then we're looking at mid 70s. SCRA explodes, wedges, flags, coils, breaks out, flags again, it pops, then pullback. Overall, looks like a stock that wants to go higher, doesn't it? Target 14. Sprouts Family Markets, beautiful long-term chart, breakaway gap, multiple week flag, and a breakout on Friday. Looks higher to me. We're going with 72. Skechers also popped Friday on big earnings, broke out of a 4-month consolidation, targeting 75.6. SMR explodes, pulls back, forms a wedge, and boy, it broke the wedge last week. Not a ton of volume, but the key to resistance and targets, first 7 1/4, 35, and then 8 3/4, 9. SMTC, beautiful chart. Key resistance and gap here. Should it get through, we might see low 40s. Snap exploded on Friday as well with big volume. 180 million shares, 185 actually, the biggest volume I've ever seen on a breakaway day. There's some resistance there. I'm just above here at 15.5, but then I'm looking at 17 and 19. STNG in the shipping group, Scorpio tankers. Boy, it takes this ascending bull coil out. We might see mid 80s, looking really good. STOK, biotech, exploded with a breakaway gap, spiked, falling wedge. Keep an eye on this one too. Should it pop, it would be a $15 stock again. STTK exploded in December, flagged. We had a swing on this one and then ran up to the target 11 and backed off. Looks like it's ready to resume, targeting 14 and 17. SWBI, that's Smith & Wesson, beautiful long-term chart, now consolidating bullishly. Your target is 19. TAL breaking out of a wedge in a long-term rising channel with a target now of 17 and 20. TALK, beautiful long-term channel as well, but came down from resistance and it's flagging. Now this is a little concerning because of that. That's bear flag, we are going lower. Careful on that one, but any spike and breakout, 3 3/4 and 4 3/4 would be your targets. Now TCOM is a beautiful long-term rising channel. Pop coil, pop flag, and then pop the flag. So my target now is extending to 58.9. Table looks like it snapped back after breaking down, but he got the secondary support right there and held it very well. Now the snapback. The double top is your test, 14.45. We get through that, I'm looking at 15 and 17. Tandem Diabetes breaking out of a pullback consolidation with a little gap and now a little consolidation here. It's at resistance and should it get through 39 and 42 targets. Ultralight batteries popped on Thursday. We put a swing on it. Friday was a great follow-through day as it dipped at 10 1/4 and went up to 11.85. Finished up 109 or 10%. Volume, this is a thinly traded stock, but I can tell you right now, this might be a $16 target. UTI, another trading stock, base breakout, flag, pop, retest, go, flag again. Now, You can see this is the highest level we've seen since 2014. You get to there, we're looking at high teens, low 20s, maybe. Vista, oil and gas stocks in general strong, but this one's gone from, get this, mid-single digits to mid-40s, and it doesn't look done yet. Target, 49.50. Same with Vital Farms. Breaks out of a long-term base. Possible target up here. Going for 30 or better. Viking with a 2-month coil. Thursday and Friday look like it's starting to come out. Going to have to test and take out 89, your next target. VRT looks like a $100 stock to me, maybe 105. Great chart long term. And VST, that's utility. Vista, folks, it's a monster stock for utility. It looks like it could be 85.90. Wheat and precious metals, the biggest silver purveyor. Great looking chart long term. This level is the highest level we've seen since way back in 2020, a 4-year high. You get to this base, and it looks like a massive inverse. This could run and really run. Watch just for a swing into the 60s and 70s. And Zeta, which is a tech trader swing, doing great and still stepping its way higher, popped at 51 cents at 4% Friday. That's the highest level in 2 years. We get to the all-time high at 13.15, which is right there. I'm looking at 15 and 17. And finally, Zim, with a run up and a pullback, broke out on Friday with a big pop. I'm looking for a move to 16 and 18. I got some shorts to cover. Let's do that. We'll finish up today. So Adobe's been in the down channel, but after reaching the bottom of the channel, it's starting to firm. Be careful. It might have a snapback at some point towards 500, 520, and that's where I think it's shortable again. This is a 1, 2, 3, and maybe 4. Autodesk, I got hammered, as you know. It bounced to resistance, couldn't get through, and got crushed again. Engulfing bearish reversal bar on Friday. The stock went from 219 to 210 and closed there. Looks to me like this is headed for 195, maybe 185. ACMI, also ugly day and a good market day. 1, 2, 3, maybe forming wave 4. I think eventually it gets to 95. AMN on the verge of potentially breaking it one way or another. If it breaks down, 48.50. AMR, this is a little stronger than I want to see, but it has not broken through resistance. Your stop is right there above 362. On the other hand, any move under 314, and you might be looking at 265.70. ANET broke down and snapped back to resistance. Maybe a bit stronger than I want to see, but if it fails there, a lot of room to drop. ARM, like many semiconductors, hammered and now rising wedge. This is bearish. Until I see a break out above that, it could easily roll over. Be careful. ASML, same group, same kind of pattern. That would be a drop down, smash down. And look, the semiconductors are trying to lead, but if they suddenly turn negative, all market does. Bearish, 825 target from 915. ETGE dropped down and snapped back. It's been up for like 8-9 days in a row, so not what you want to see from a short. Careful. BRZE broke down, bear wedge. It went from 44 to 38 and change and bounced. It still looks lower to me. I have targets at 36 and below. CAR, tech trader swing short, dropped from 128 to Thursday's low of 93. This has dropped 35 points already. I don't think it's done yet. My target, 80 and maybe 72. CEIX in the coal sector broke the top, rallied to resistance in the channel, and it came down from the large coil. It's got to break down. I don't want to see this above 90. That's my stop. And he moved down here, back into the mid-70s, could get into the mid-60s. CMT, after getting hammered in November, this has gone sideways for 7 months, 6 months. And so the longer the consolidation, the bigger the move. If this breaks down, look out. If it breaks out, you'll stop anyway. Deckers, a new one I put on the board. It broke down, rallied to line. Big engulfing bearish day on Friday, no kidding. From 850 to 780, 70 points down and close at the low. Yeah, I think 740 and 700 may be doable. ELF as well, a large rising channel. a rally right to resistance, so we don't want to see this one above 182. You can stop above that. It's pretty close, maybe 186 here. But breakdown gets you down into the 140s. FIX, massive engulfing bearish reversal day Friday. See it? Almost went to a new high. Matter of fact, I think it did nominally. Double, triple topping. But if this gets under 287, it could fall away. First target is here at the gap, 266, and then a gap fill at 246. FN breaks a long uptrend, breaks support, rallies back. Keep an eye on this one for a further drop into the 140s. Fox Factory with a large, after breaking down with a gap, formed a large rising wedge bearish. This is what we talk about. And look at that drop from 70 to 40, and it's still its lower. Oversold though. GitLab, this might be a left shoulder, head right shoulder. It's weakening here. Targeting 40.41 if it drops. INFA, hammered on big volume and then rallying on low volume. Always a bad sign. For me, I think it retests and takes out 29.5, and then we're looking at 26 and 24. INMD continues to slip. We showed you this big drop, 1, 2, 3 wave corrected bear flag. This massive looking ugly chart. Look where this can go. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be a $10 stock, but very conceivably would get there. Light, well, the head and shoulder top did break. You got down there a target, first target right there. I said 41, and it bounces. Do not let it get above 46.7. I'm looking for 35.6. Marvel could be a head and shoulder top, but it snapped back to the neckline. A little slower than I'd like to see, but let's see if this thing rolls over or not. Your target's 53 and 45. New York Times, that's a tech trader swing short. I didn't even see this on Friday. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. How could this stock drop all the way down? I'm wondering whether that's accurate. Hang on a second. It looks like an out trade, so I don't think that's correct. Nevertheless, you can see it's very weak in a bear flag, and I think it will eventually get down there, near 39.40. PVH, that's a bear flag, folks, with a big negative breakdown and a bear flag. I'm looking for lower levels. High 80s target. Sentinel, bear flag broke down, got to target number 1 and bounced, but it looks to me like this is headed for 18 and 16. SAIC broke down, bear coil, broke down, and now rallied back again. So this one has to be stopped above 132, 133. If it doesn't do that, it rolls over, 113 is the target. Shopify may be a head and shoulder top. It did bounce back. I'm going to need it to take out this here, 68, before I can say it's going to 61 and 55. And Zscaler, my last stock today, breaks the trend line, it continues to slip lower, and it doesn't have any bounce whatsoever. If it continues lower here, I'll be looking for 155 and 135. Folks, that's an exhaustive look at the technicals, the markets, the indices, the NASDAQ 100 generals, a bunch of longs, and some really intriguing shorts. Please review this in depth and be prepared for next week. You're going to need it. It's going to be a volatile week. For now, this is HB out. Have a great rest of your weekend. And thanks for paying attention. Bye-bye.